But, also here, I'll say this, like throughout the country, especially this season and what they've built, like Detroit has become, everybody's like, yeah, I'm okay if they win. That's kind of a good story. That's a cool story. Like how many times for Thanksgivings have been where it's not that exciting of a game. And I mean, I was tuned in this year. I mean, I wanted to see them play Caleb Williams. I wanted to see Detroit. We don't get a chance to see them all that often. I was like, I want to see this squad. They're putting up, a ton of points and all that. However, as we talk about, it's a long season. And the last couple weeks have been problematic for Detroit in a spot where we are pretty good, which is through the pass game. Mm-hmm. In their last 5 games, I believe it is, they're giving up more than 300 yards passing to guys like Brock Purdy, which, hey, if this was last year, no sweat. This was not the San Francisco team, before. They gave up a bunch to Josh Allen. That's okay. It's the Bills. Like, that's going to happen. But Caleb also had a big game against them. They showed that, hey, this guy does have a little bit. So there's a little bit of vulnerability there, especially the fact that the only way we score points these days is from number 5, whether it's him passing or whether him, taking over and just running for dear life. Yeah. So that you talk about it, Jack, like there is a chance there where if our recipe is a spot where they have some vulnerability. So that's why I think it's going to be interesting to kind of see if we're able to keep that stuff going. And Sean, I'm going to let you talk about your guy and if he's going to step up.
No, and listen, and we know how important kind of this game is, and you know what? It's funny because I was at Ford Field the last time we played, and I was surrounded by that Honolulu blue and all those Lions fans. And that's when we had Carson Wentz. That's when they jumped out early to the 21-0 lead. Like they were both Swift went off on us. Amon-Ra St. Brown went off. And we tried to come back late in that game, but we weren't able to do it. But yeah, to your point, and we got some guests. I want to ask them about this as well. Where, shout out to Amon-Ra, because that's who we're going to have stop. And we've had to play elite receiver almost every week, all the way back to Evans in the first week and Larry Marvin Harrison Jr.'s son and Malik Neighbors, yada, yada, yada. I mean, Jamar Chase, the whole 9. And this is no different. But I think it's funny that when you hear Amon-Ra St. Brown, one of the little stories or interviews that came up, was him saying, I look at teams and players that got drafted ahead of me, namely De'Ami Brown. And I'm like, see, I'm better than that guy. I'm just like, yes. Real. You're absolutely right. But you don't know how I feel about De'Ami, my guy coming from North Carolina, who has let me down all the way up until this week. And then shout out to you finally showing up. I'll take it. But I mean, with that, like that, talk to me about that, because it's kind of like they have motivation against us. Can we get amped to play them? That's the thing.
Yeah. Will there be a single punt this game? That's my question. I don't think so.
Pressway is a really good placeholder, like a kick holder. Let's let him do that.
He's on the last year of his $13 million contract. He gone.
Don't do that. Don't do that to us.
MVP. That's what they really called for. They knew Tress was on the sideline, so they were saying MVP.
Right.
No, in all seriousness, no. They need to hit on those 4th downs. Like in this game, I'm sure they're going to be going for it. So if they can hit the majority of them like they did last week, I don't see a problem with it. But one stat I saw is that Jaden had a perfect QBR on 3rd and 4th down passing downs in the last game. It's like 138 or something like that. He was like 9 for 10 with like a touchdown. It's if he plays like that, like it's.
How do you have a perfect rating if you go 9 for 10?
I don't know. That's a good question, Will. Ask the internet. Yeah.
But Sean, what you were saying, I really hope. Like last week, De'Ami came out of nowhere and became our number 2. And if you remember, about 5-6 weeks ago, Terry said, hey, this is the opportunity for guys to step up. De'Ami's shown us that he can do some things. And we were like, oh, okay, we heard this before. And all of a sudden, in the biggest game of his career, when we needed it, he did. Mm-hmm. And you almost kind of hope if the Commanders are smart, they are at practice every single day this week. They're going up to De'Ami and showing that clip in his face to say, this guy's calling you guys out. Are you going to do something here? Just to see, because we are going to need. I would imagine, especially with Detroit plays a lot of man defense. They're going to do what Philly did to us in that first game and blanket Terry. So somebody
out of the game.
It's going to have to be, if it's not Diami, is it OZ? Is it going to be Zach? Or somebody is going to have to step up to bail out Jaden, because he can't run from his life against some of their defensive ends.
Sure.
Yeah, and can we stop calling running back QB powers and QB
and counters?
Yes.
Yeah,
can we not do that, please? Good God. What were you saying, Jack?
You guys confused me by bringing up the QB powers. So wait.
Look,
who's even starting at corner for Detroit at this point? Like their third or fourth depth at this. I don't even know. I know they lost their other starting cornerback I think a couple weeks ago. So at this point, yeah. I don't even know where the depth's at for that, but you should ask those Detroit guys when you're.
They're going to have to teach us this. But I mean, Kirby Joseph's leading the league in interceptions, so it sounds like, and Brian Branch is right behind him. So the guy who Washington said they were going to draft, and then we decided to get Emmanuel Forbes instead. So I don't know why we lied to him, but I mean, they seem to within their scheme, their safeties are the ones who kind of make those plays. But yeah, it's gonna. I mean, like you said, Jack, if we can do time of possession, if we can play the type of game we're going, and I think we really have to go through our passing game to set up anything. It's not out of the possibilities.
Anything is possible.
Anything is possible, and with this team, anything is possible.
Yeah, I'm not feeling great about it, but anything is possible. And to your point, Will, it's not going to be a Terry, it's not going to be a Diami, it's going to be a collective. It's going to be. It's not. He hasn't done anything. He's done one thing. He had 2 games in his career. One was against the Titans back when we lost that game with Carson Wentz. He had 2 big
75-yard touchdown. Yeah,
that's it. He hasn't done anything, even when he had Sam Howell. I'm not talking about Diami anymore. All right, look, Jack, we appreciate you, our guy. We are so glad you were here with us when we were sad, and now you're here with us again. We are flying high, baby.
I just don't want it to stop. Please, please, Jaden, stay healthy. Don't get hurt. I think that's the only thing that could really make me cry. But some of the hits he takes, guys, I sit there and I hold my breath, and I just really wish these, would just slide a little bit more often, just a little bit more. But
like when he got destroyed on the sidelines.
Yeah. I'm a little bit worried about that. Or he got his knee buckled from the side a little bit on that low blow. And then
you see that?
Man. And then it's stuff like that just makes me hold my breath. But so far so good. We're getting the puck luck this year, and we'll see what's up.
Mm-hmm.
I wish we could establish the run early. We can't run the ball.
Yeah, I don't know, Nathan. I mean, the Bucs defense was top 5 against the run. The Lions aren't top 5, but they are better at stopping the run. And I don't know. I don't know if it's the scheme. I don't know if B-Rob's hurt, but our running ability is gone.
I've heard it's a combination of B-Rob being hurt and in the interior line just being kind of beat up as well. So I just don't know if it's going to be any better for the rest of the season. We'll see.
Yeah. That's why I think you have to establish it through the pass essentially.
Yeah.
And use Austin Eckler a lot, which will make Sean extremely happy.
Hey, he's a good change of pace back. I agree. Mm-hmm. B-Rob was pretty ineffective last week. So, Eckler had that 8-yard run, I think, to open up that 9-yard or that 9-minute drive. And then, from there, he just kind of set the tone. But I think that was the longest run of the game, at least for the running backs. So,
yes. Yeah.
Yeah. I appreciate it, guys.
Thank you, Jack.
I'll be sitting here. And there's a Saturday night game this time, which I am pumped about. So
that's right. We're excited to see it, man. Hey, appreciate you joining us, man. So glad you were able to get on here, man.
I think it might be close to our time, guys. Have a good one.
Hail to the Skins.
Let's go, baby.
Yeah, go Commanders.
Yeah.
I had to think about one.
Yeah.
See you, buddy.
Yeah, buddy, man. Yo, shout out to our guy, Jack Niedermeyer, who was here with us when we were bad, and he's still here with us now. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to take a quick break, and on the other side, we have some guests from the Motor City, the Detroit Lions, across the sidelines. We're going to talk to bleachers and speakers. You're going to want to see this, ladies and gentlemen. We got to talk about this game. But before we do that, got to shout out our guy, Anton Benton, Awesome Artisans. Be right back. Yeah, buddy, that was our guy, Anton Benton, creator of Awesome Artisans, lives in the Virginia Beach area, but will travel. Just got back from Baltimore. I know he's gone down to South Carolina in certain areas. He's gone all the way as far as Denver, Colorado, and Seattle, Washington. He will travel. He does great work. Definitely reach out to him if you need something done. Well, look, ladies and gentlemen, we are in an unfamiliar spot. We are in the divisional round of the playoffs. Playoffs? Yes, the playoffs, ladies and gentlemen. We're excited to be here, but we are more excited, and I'm going to send this to you, Will. We are part of the Fans First Sports Network, and we now have a connection with more fans and more people that do kind of the same thing we do. Will, talk to us about the collaboration we're starting.
Absolutely. This was kind of what we were thrilled about by joining Fan First Sport Network, is when you get opportunities to play teams that we're not as familiar about. There are other folks out there that are just as passionate about their team as we are about the Commanders, that can teach us a little bit about who they are and kind of what they see what they see on about us that they're worried about or not worried about. And we get an opportunity to just kind of chop it up a little bit. So super excited for this. If you are not following Fan First Sports Network on Twitter X, you should, along with obviously following us on Wash FB Weekly, and subscribing and liking on Apple and Spotify.
Absolutely, absolutely. So without further ado, we got to look across the sidelines with bleachers to speakers. Shout out to Jay and Jude. What's up, guys?
That's B. Foster in June, but it's
apologize.
Nah, you good. You good,
brother. We're gonna get you together.
All right, I appreciate that. So, what's up, gentlemen? Playoffs.
How are you guys doing?
Dude, we're ecstatic. We are ecstatic. We're not in the playoffs. We're not like this. This is new territory for us.
Y'all sound like us. You sound like y'all not even used to being there. So
we're not, right. This is until last year. This has been pretty unfamiliar territory. So we're just as ecstatic as you guys are. So
right.
And look, we got to throw back to, for those of you that don't know, the last time these two teams faced off, 1991. Unfortunately for our partners, it wasn't as great of a day. We were just out of this world. Washington ended up going to the Super Bowl, but the year that you guys had that year was just, amazing with what Barry did. I think Eric Kramer was your quarterback at that time. Bush was in the White House, the first Bush. So much was different at that time. But talk about this year. You get back to the playoffs last year. Now you're here, and you are the best team in the NFC, in our opinion, by far. What are your how y'all feeling?
Well, first off, that team in '92, that was a Mark Rippon team. I remember watching that first game versus Dallas on Monday Night Football, and Dallas was the reigning champ, and they came in there, and Washington kicked their butts. I knew they were going to be good all season, so I remember that game like yesterday. I was in the Army when I was watching all this stuff, so that was a very, very good team. Of course we paid attention to the show backstage for a long time. Even before I got backstage, I listened to the show and I heard a couple of things, man. We got to talk. We definitely got to talk, man. We got to talk. Don't be misled by this past defense that you've seen if you look at the entire season as a whole, the passing defense has been pretty good.
Right.
We've had some injuries here and there. Our starting core first. Well, no, Terrion Arnold is a starter, but he's a rookie. But the other side is Amik Robinson. He was originally our nickel, and we lost Carlton Davis Jr.
Mm-hmm.
and he was our starter. So he was having a pretty good year until that happened. So I mean, we could sit up here and whine about injuries, like because if you look at our
It'd be legit.
yeah,
Right.
it's like we have all pros that have not seen the field. Lee McNeil and Hutch. And it's our other we acquired Marcus Davenport as our other defensive end from Minnesota, and I think he played 2 games and he's out. We missed 8 weeks without Anzalone, our best cover linebacker. It's been a road.
And that's what I think is so impressive about Detroit. One of our buddies said, "You guys are the definition of no excuses." I mean, at one point, I know it was 22 players were out or IR or something like that, and you guys have still won. I mean, next man up is y'all's thing. Like, so talk to us, like, how healthy? Let's be honest. You're talking about some of the guys that are back, but how healthy are you all coming into this game?
We're a lot healthier than we have been in the past 5 or 6 weeks. I will say that. There's still some key positions out, but the key positions that we've been out for a long time. So there won't be any excuses, especially for me, about injuries, no matter what happens. Because Hutch has been out since game 5. And that was our best defensive player. We've been rotating cornerbacks in. Carlton Davis Jr., he was our best cover corner, but he's been in and out. And then till his untimely out for the season with a broken jaw. I mean, we just been scrambling, and we've had this next man up mentality. And we've been, for a while, we were pulling people off the practice squads, and they were coming in and contributing. And it's hats off to the coaching, because they've been playing inspiring type of football. So.
And just to piggyback off of the injuries and who we have coming back, David Montgomery, who's our 1A running back, who's had a great year, he's is more than likely going to be back this week. Terrion Arnold had a bit of a foot injury in the Minnesota Vikings game, and he appears to be in good condition as well. And then we have Ennis Rackesstraw, who has been in and out of the lineup all year with a nagging hamstring injury. He should be back in action as well. So those are like the notable guys that will be returning. Obviously, Arnold hasn't missed any games with injury, but as you guys talked about, we are, pretty light in the cornerback area. So it's very essential that he's available for us with Carlton Davis out for the year with that broken jaw.
Yeah. I mean, look, you talk about your secondary here and kind of looking at just like the depth chart, just to kind of see and how many guys are no longer being listed. There's not a whole lot of backups behind them being listed there. So they can't go down on Saturday.
No.
So talk to me about how you guys are feeling. Everything's going viral in DC about, I think it was a radio show, and what he said, how we're like, listen, y'all may have had a good game. You got a good quarterback. We are 60 minutes away from the NFC Championship. I'm sure you're familiar with that. With that, that's kind of gone viral. But how are you all feeling with this season? Do you feel like this is our year?
Well, at the beginning of the season, more than I want to say near the end of the season last year, we were thinking. Well, at the end of the season, we were like, it's either NFC Championship or bust, or it's a bad season, right? Because we got to the NFC Championship last year. We were 1/2 away from the Super Bowl. And for me and Foster, I think I could speak for Foster on this. If we don't get to the NFC Championship, at least it would be a failure in our eyes of a season. Now, the pulse within the city and within the fan base is they actually believe that this is the season for the Lions. Like, there's been a buzz since 2 years ago when they fell short of the playoffs, the Lions had went 8-2 to finish the season, but fell short of the playoffs. And then they come in last year, they win the division and are a half away from the Super Bowl. But there's an aura in the city and the fan base that this is going to be it. This is ours. Home field advantage, the best regular season in the history of Detroit Lions. Of course, they never had 17 games, but to be 15-2, which me and Foster said 12-5 was our ceiling for me and Foster, but 15-2, and you put all of that in with the injuries and all that other stuff, and it's like it feels like this is the year. But me and Foster have been doing this long enough, have been fans long enough to brace ourselves and not get too. It's one game at a time for me and Foster.
Yeah,
medium. Yeah.
In Washington, we say we're cautiously optimistic.
I mean,
we know what's around that next door.
We're not arrogant. We're not crazy now. We still have to win on Saturday. So there was somebody that brought up, well, if you got Philly at home, I'm like, wait, one game at a time.
Yeah.
Let's get past the Redskins first, because it's a pretty talented team over there. You guys aren't 9-8 and
right
into the playoffs. You guys are 12-5 with a hell of a quarterback, with a mobile quarterback, which I don't like to face.
Right. Nobody does. Do you also feel, though, a little bit of urgency because of the fact that are you going to have your great coordinators next year? Is it kind of like we got to get it this year because we're about to lose? We very well may lose both of them this offseason.
It's been like that for the past couple of years. Like, we didn't expect Ben Johnson to be back here this year.
Because he wouldn't talk to us.
Well, yeah.
Good. Yeah.
But we all know the sacrifice with having good coordinators is they get opportunities at the end of the year. So you're not going to keep a good coordinator for very long. And because most coordinators have ambitions to be head coaches and they get offers. But I think what we have in place here, and this is what I wholeheartedly believe, that we have finally, after all these years, we got the right head coach for the job. So we figure everything else is complementary. I think he's going to be able to pick an offensive coordinator and a defensive coordinator. Now, it may take some time to get back to it, but I think we're on the right path because of our head coach. And I think whoever he finds to be the next defensive coordinator or the next offensive coordinator, or both, I think what they will, hopefully they'll embrace what he's brought to the table and be complimentary, and we'll be still in playoff races and stuff like that. So we know what's at stake as far as possibility of losing our offensive and defensive coordinator, because if you lose both, what's the possibility of you being back where you were the season before? It's like that the probability is down the drain.
Right.
So we feel like now, me personally, I feel like, yes, you have to win now, but I'm also confident that if you don't win, you still have Dan Campbell. You still have a roster that believes in him, and Detroit is becoming a destination place for free agents. So I still believe in this team no matter what. You can take out the offensive coordinator. We may not be right back where we want to be, but eventually we'll get there. So it's been a turn of events as far as the culture around here, and we actually believe in Dan Campbell.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And look, I'm going to stay there right quick because I think that's huge. That's something that we on the outside looking at in Washington, we always say we're following the coattails of Detroit. What you guys have done, putting the right guys in office, getting the right coaches, getting the right management and all that, and how you guys are building up. That's kind of how we want to build. But even back to what you're saying about Dan Campbell, I mean, what amazes me about him is we know you guys, your starters are studs. We know, Amon-Ra and the Montgomerys and Goff playing well and all these guys, the O-line, all that. But like you were saying, when the backups came in, when the practice squad came in, everybody knows there's an expectation and everybody rises up to the challenge.
Mhm.
And that to me is something that's amazing. Dan Campbell, I'm not gonna lie, when he first came in with the biting of the
I
kneecaps
didn't
and
like it.
I
didn't
didn't either. Yeah, like
I was like, what are we doing right now? Man?
He
So,
sounds
but, I
like
mean,
me.
what he's right, but what he's done though is nothing short of remarkable, man. So, I mean, having that kind of a leader in house, I mean, it's kind of how we feel with Jaden, where it's kind of like, I got that guy. So I don't care who you got. Like there's a confidence, man. Do you guys feel that like week in and week out?
Oh yeah, oh yeah. Like I said, it's a feeling of confidence around here like I've never seen before. It's crazy, and I got a crazy Deion Brown story. Is that his name? The wide receiver, Deion.
Oh, you can call him Deion because he's been playing like Deion. He ain't catching nothing. All right?
I'm sorry if no disrespect, but Foster can attest to this. A lot of the draft picks that the Lions have picked over the years, I disagreed with. Mr. Brown, De'Ami Brown, or whatever his name is the wide receiver I thought the Lions should have picked.
Yeah.
I like that. Yeah.
I that's who I wanted. There was another wide receiver who I felt was better. I didn't want St. Brown here. I was like, he's a slot receiver. He runs a 4.5 40. I don't want this guy. We need a burner on the outside. And boy, I couldn't be more wrong.
I'd say you made the right choice. All right.
We celebrated the Diami pick, not just because Sean's a huge Tar Heel fan, but just like you said, everything you were reading, it was like he should never have slipped to the third round. And we're like, we've got to steal the draft. Not even close.
What was
he scored this game, right? Last game?
The first time in months. All right.
Yeah.
What was the other wide receiver for Carolina? His name was Dallas something.
Oh, Daz Newsome.
Daz Newsome, yes.
He went to
the same year?
Chicago.
Was he the same year? That's who I thought the Lions should have drafted at that time instead of St. Brown.
See, this is why June doesn't draft. Like, who?
Exactly why I'm here.
Wait. I'll tell you who he is. North Carolina's finest, all right? Daz Newsome, De'Ami Brown, Michael Carter, and Javonte Williams, all four of them were 1,000-yard either running backs or wide receivers that came out that year, followed by Sam Howell.
We
drafted I'm from North Carolina. That's my guys.
Okay, we drafted what? Antoine Green or what's his name? Didn't he?
Antoine Green.
Yes.
Yeah, we drafted. We cut him too, right?
Yeah, he
didn't. Yeah. We don't talk about that. But Foster. So talk to us. Oh yeah, go ahead, Will.
No, you go, Sean. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, Foster, just piggyback on talk to us about, the Diami thing, because that's something that that is close to my heart. Diami is somebody that I followed. I followed him and Sam Howell all throughout North Carolina, and when we got him, I mean, I'm the reason why Will was excited about him, because I'm just telling him, oh, this guy's great. He's great. He's ACC great, and we saw that. But that's behind the point. Your wide receiver, your guy that you guys did get.
Right.
Had an interview, and I mentioned it earlier, where he said, hey, I look at guys that got drafted in front of me, and namely that guy, De'Ami Brown. He got picked, and I got that chip on my shoulder. Have you seen that? Is he playing with that chip on his shoulder still?
Oh yeah, Amon-Ra St. Brown is the consummate professional. He's the guy that you can depend on to make that catch when it matters the most. He's not the biggest, he's not the fastest, but when it's time to get that big catch on third down or that touchdown when you need it, he has been there for us. And the fact that he was drafted, after 14, whatever amount of receivers, a ridiculous amount of receivers that went ahead of him.
He has him tatted on his arm, the people that was drafted above.
No, not quite. It's not that, right?
Maybe it's the numbers.
Yeah.
He can definitely rattle the names off to you, from beginning to end. But that's something that he'll always carry with him, no matter what. And I can't be more thankful that he fell to us after, all those other receivers went.
His numbers are ridiculous. 115 catches. Like, We thought we did a good job with Terry this year.
Oh yeah, I mean, and you did.
And we did, but then you still look over here. It's like, more importantly, Sean was going to love this. 141 targets for him. That every game, Sean's like, throw the ball, Terry. Give him 10 targets a game. Just do it. Just do it. So,
but Terry drops
every once in a while. Talking about this game here, from the Lions' perspective, what are some things that you see where you're like, this is what we can do to win? Because we always do it against teams and no one can stop us. You kind of talked about Amon-Ra. Or is there certain things you're like, I know Washington can't do this, so this is how we should be attacking them?
I mean, there's two main things that I look at that we absolutely have to do coming into this game. And one is establish the run. Obviously, we get David Montgomery back, so he is going to he's the bruiser, power back. And then of course we got Jahmyr Gibbs as the speedy dual threat guy. But I think that establishing the run early on is gonna do a lot for us. It's gonna control the time of possession, as you guys kind of talked about. It's gonna loosen up that secondary a little bit. It's gonna force you guys to bring more guys to the box, and it's also gonna slow down that pass rush. I mean, you guys got Dante Fowler and Frankie Louvu, two guys that get after the quarterback. And that's something that we've, had issues with at times, is protecting Jared Goff, especially because he's not very elusive. He, when he feels the least bit of pressure, sometimes he tends to kind of, crumble under the collapsed pocket. So that's number one, is establishing the run. But secondly, just containing Jaden Daniels in the pocket, not allowing him to get outside and create opportunities. I mean, he's the second leading rusher as far as QBs are concerned. And we have been susceptible to running quarterbacks all year, most notably as of recently, Josh Allen.
Don't bring his name up.
I know.
Crushed
but
you all.
It's so imperative that that we slow him down, because that's been our Achilles heel when we've been faced with it. So those are the two biggest things. I mean, I think that Cliff Kingsbury definitely tries to make things simplistic with his air raid philosophy of spreading the defense out, using those bubble screens and moving the ball down the field. But I think that if we can execute on third down and in the red zone like we did against the Minnesota Vikings, I think that once the crowd gets involved, we may be able to rattle Jaden Daniels. Although he looks like a wily vet out there. He's a rookie, but he doesn't make a lot of mistakes out there. So he did a great job last week. This guy's the first rookie quarterback to win a road game in a really long time. He had no interceptions, no punts, I don't think, in that game as well. So pretty seamless game from him. So I was impressed.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I got a buddy. His name is Pay. He's a Chicago Bear fan. We have a weekly show with him on Wednesdays, and I said Jaden Daniels is a better quarterback than Caleb in the offseason, and I thought Bears should have drafted Jaden Daniels first.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I know 1 year is a small sample size, but I'm looking pretty good with that prediction right there.
Oh yeah. Now look, I gotta say this, because 2 years ago, I alluded to it earlier. 2 years ago, I went to Ford Field, and let me tell you something. When y'all get up on a team, I couldn't hear myself think. Now,
it gets crazy.
I will also say this, and I need to let me know if this is still the way it is. Now, that was obviously 2 years ago, so I think you missed the playoffs that year, and you guys went up, but then in the second half we came back, and I had a Lions guy right next to me, and he was hooting and just throwing the towel and everything. And that second half, he was just back in his seat, and I was like, "Yeah, that's exactly what he said." He said, "We expect it. This is coming."
We eliminated it.
We deal with that right now with other fans. Like the slightest thing goes wrong, and it's here we go again. And
Yep.
after that Buffalo game, the stuff that I heard after that, it was oh my God. It's the second loss of the season. Relax.
Right.
So yeah, it's still like that. It's still, you still got fans that are they're optimistic, but a little bit of adversity, and it's like, oh no.
Yeah.
So that's the way it is. I mean, it's no overconfidence here.
It's trauma. What it is trauma. Yeah, you got a lot of years of being let down and this is back when our team didn't have the expectations. So now it's like, oh, here we go. Here we go.
Yeah.
But you learn to tune that out though, because that'll have you ready to crash out some of the things that you hear sometimes.
So look, I dated a girl for 10 years that was from East Lansing, went to Michigan State.
Sorry,
I got a bone to pick with Magic Johnson, but that's a whole nother thing.
Let's go, Magic. Let's go.
Sorry to hear about that Michigan State stuff.
Right. Oh my goodness. Oh, let me. She won't like that. But look, I say this to say, she would keep. We would go to grocery shopping. There was times that she would get paper. And I remember when I was like, we don't get plastic. She pulled it out one weekend. Like, you guys were up, and then all of a sudden you lose, and then
the brown paper bag.
Oh, that's
the brown paper bag.
Crazy.
I said, y'all can do it. What happened? She said when Matt Stafford got traded, she said, we got another show called Let's Talk Football. She came on there and she said, mark my words, next year Matt Stafford's going to win the Super Bowl because he's away from the Lions curse. And I was like, what? Are you serious? And she was right.
She's from Michigan. Right. She's smart.
Oh yeah.
I tell you what.
She probably state educated. That's probably why.
Detroit went 1-1 their first two games, right? And the offense wasn't humming. And I heard get rid of Goff chants. Mind you, he passed for 4,000 yards for the first two consecutive seasons in a row. And this season, there were people that I know that were saying, and on my timeline on Facebook, get rid of Goff. That's crazy. That's how it is.
Yeah.
It is. You're right. You're right. Oh man. Will, you got anything before we go into the keys?
I think we go to keys.
Let's do it. All right, ladies and gentlemen, on this show, we do a little something where we pull out our keys and give a little keys to victory, where we try to take a look. We each do two keys. We do one go around and then do another one go around, and we give the key to what we think is going to allow our team to get the dub. June, I'm going to start with you first, man. What is your first key to victory?
Win the turnover battle.
Yep.
Can't turn the ball over, and we got to force some.
I like that. Foster, what you got, man?
I think that matchup with Terry McLaurin, with Terrion Arnold is going to be an essential matchup. You got a guy, who, like we talked about, Carlton Davis is our number one corner, but Terrion Arnold has shown us some things. He's obviously a rookie, but he completely shut down Jordan Addison in that Minnesota Vikings game, held him to one reception for 0 yards. I think that they're definitely going to target McLaurin as much as they can. I think he made a Pro Bowl this year. So with the fact that the Washington is going to look to establish the pass first to set up the run, they're definitely going to be throwing in that direction quite a bit.
I like that. Will, what you think, man?
That's exactly what I was going to say, is we have to start with the pass, and we can't do what we did against the Bucs. And what we've been doing is we on second and short, we run it straight up the gut, right into the nose tackle, who's pushed back our center and offensive guards, or we run or counter with the quarterback. Like, let's stick with the pass. The run can be sprinkled in because we are who we are at this point. Go through the pass because that's the only way. That's our best way of moving the ball down the field.
Oh yeah. My first one is our pass rush. Foster, you alluded to it that Jared Goff is not the most mobile quarterback. I've seen him pick apart defenses. We know what he did with the Rams, and he has been amazing with you guys. But for us, we got to collapse that pocket, rush, get in his face, and try to get him to, throw ill-advised passes or deflected passes or something like that. To then, to your point, Jude, got to get turnovers for us. So we definitely want to go at him. Mr. June, what is your second key to victory?
Establish the run. We have to run the ball well, early and often. We just have to. If we can run the ball, we'll do great things. So we're able. One of the best things, one of the most underrated things that happen is Montgomery to go down and to feature Gibbs as the back, and to be the feature back, and he's done marvelous things since he's been the guy back there. So we established the run, get Gibbs going early. We can make things happen.
I like that. All right, Foster, what you got, man?
Execute on third down in the red zone defensively. That's one thing that we did really well against the Minnesota Vikings is we didn't allow them. We got them off the field on third down. We don't need to see any more of Jaden Daniels than we're going to have to see, and hold them to field goals in the red zone. We held the Vikings to 9 points, and we were, as far as the whole defense has been beat up. So if we can limit how much they're on the field, it's gonna be a major factor in the game.
Absolutely. What you think, Will?
Yeah. Well, it's going to have to be hold them on third and fourth down, because I guarantee you Dan Quinn's probably going to go for it every single time like he does. So
hey, as I always say, Dan Campbell is, Dan Quinn is Dan Campbell. Like when you ask Mom, can I get McDonald's? You say, we got McDonald's at home. That's Quinn.
Yeah.
Yep.
McDonald's at home.
Yeah.
We got it out right.
So we keep saying the same things, and I'm with you. We have to hold you all to field goals. If we are going to stay in this game, we cannot be giving up touchdowns. I have a feeling that Ben Johnson is going to have a much better killer instinct than Liam Cohen did. Tampa Bay was shredding us with Mike Evans, and he stopped going to him. He stopped throwing the ball just every single time to him for some reason, and we were able to slow down Bucky Irving to where we kind of controlled their offense a little bit. I feel like if it's the pass game with Amon-Ra, if it's the run game between Montgomery or Gibbs, Ben Johnson's just going to keep hammering with us. And so I don't know if we're going to get as lucky with that on defense. So we have to hold you guys to field goals, because if we are trading touchdowns, I think we are not going to be able to keep up.
No. And at the end of the day, we need our adjustments. We got to make adjustments, because you guys are going to hit us in the mouth, and I think we're going to fall behind. It's going to be one of those things where we are going to have to figure it out. Like Will said, when Evans was killing us, we kind of switched it up with Lattimore and kind of doubled Evans, did that. We're going to have to try to take Amon-Ra out. We're going to have to try to, eliminate those running backs coming out the backfield and catching little dump passes that going from 5-yard passes to 20, 30 yarders. Adjustments are going to be huge in this game for Washington, and playing 4 quarters. Going to play a full 60 minutes of football, and that's the only way we're going to be able to run with you guys. Really quickly, before we let you guys go, let's put it out there. The score predictions for this game. Washington going to Detroit. June, what you think the score is going to be?
I got the Lions winning 31-17.
Ooh, I like that. Okay. B. Foster, what you got, man?
So we talked about this earlier, and I really like that score, but I guess I add an extra 3 on there. 34. Well, 34-20. I'm going to say that.
Okay.
They're pretty confident, Sean.
Right? I see that. Will, what you got, man? What you got, my guy?
So I've been going kind of back and forth a little bit on there. Right now, my score is 26-23. So I obviously have a much closer game, and I was leaning a certain way, but I mean, listen, we've had a great season. We've had a ton of fun. If this was how we go out, I'm going Redskins 26-23. Jaden's going to do it again. Give the ball, final 4 minutes, he's going to do what he's been doing. Drive down, field goal by Mr. OCD, Zen Gonzalez. We're going to Philly.
And then we will have 911 on call because our heart will be going. Look, yes, it is just icing on the cake that we are here. Obviously, it's been so long, 18, 19 years since we won a playoff game and we got to this spot. So we're just excited about it. But look, I don't know. We're probably going to have a good future with Jade and everything if we stay healthy and everything. So we might be here again. But I gotta go for my guys. I think this is going to be a sloppy game. I think some of the injuries for y'all and, us just kind of needling and both teams kind of bumping heads. I think turnovers could play a factor. Washington 24, Detroit 23. We shocked the world, baby. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. And I can go to my ex and be like, look at me now.
Oh, no.
I had a reason. I had a method to my madness. Right? Yo, we are so appreciative that you guys were able to come on here and join us. Yo, tell us, man, where can we find you? What shows do you guys do? Like, what's going on with you guys?
You can find us on Bleachers to Speakers on YouTube. Subscribe to that channel on YouTube. That's where we do our Bleachers to Speakers show on the Detroit Lions. We also cover Detroit Pistons basketball. That's post-game podcast. You can find that on Bleachers to Speakers as well. Foster and Coach covers Detroit Tigers baseball. And just follow us on the audio aggregators under post-game podcast and Bleachers to Speakers. Just follow us. Make sure you hit that notification bell. Download those episodes if you're listening to the audio on those platforms there.
Love that. Love that. Hey, we see these comments. They going wild, baby. They are going wild.
That's my dog. Those are my dogs in the comments, man.
An Eagle fan. His name is Coach. His name is Coach, and he's an Eagle fan. He does the Tiger show with Foster. He's an Eagles fan. I
hate that.
That's all you got to say.
Right.
I understand everything.
Exactly. Oh man, yeah. You guys, hey, look, Eagles fans, y'all need to come on now. We saw your boy just got banned from the daggone stadium for what he was saying to that lady. So come on, Billy.
Yeah, I don't know what's that about.
What happened?
Oh, you didn't hear that? Okay, so in the Packers game,
pay attention, Coach.
In the Packers Philly in the wild card game,
okay.
Apparently there were these two Packers fans. Is a guy and his fiance, and they were just in there, just rooting for their team, and there was banter. They were around all Eagles fans, but apparently this one guy just took it just too far. And in the second half, he starts calling the girl out and says, "You dumb, ugly C, and you this and that," and just going at her. And so the guy starts recording. Yeah, like he starts recording, like, dude, it's not even that serious. Like, we're watching the game, nobody else is doing this, and he just continues to berate the two of them so much that they were just like, man, she was just trying to be cool, and the guy was sitting here like, I'm not trying to start something because you're in a circle of Eagles fans,
right?
But the guy he just pointed them out and just kept going at him. Dude got banned. They reported the video. Some of the other Eagles fan even commented on it, and dude got banned. He cannot go to any other
he lost his job.
Event.
Lost his job.
Wow.
Coach, this is bad, Coach. Oh, Coach, we got to talk about
Eagles fans being Eagles fans.
Yeah, that's par for the course, I think. But I don't know.
That's what they do. That's why I will never go to the link. Never. But look, they still bold when they come to DC. They still talk. They are not quiet.
They cut different. I don't know.
Yeah. That's it.
It's because I say this to my Eagles fan. I said, you're the forgotten city. That's why up and down the East Coast, people talk about Boston and New York all the time with sports. DC's got the government, so it's more powerful. Nobody ever talks about Philly, and so they are pissed off about it.
Chip on that.
And we'll see what he says here after I just said that.
Nobody cares about the Liberty Bell.
Exactly.
Right? Rockies from the 70s. Yeah. Let's go. Let's go, baby.
That's good.
But look, guys, we got to let you guys go. Definitely tune in to what they got going on, and definitely tune in also to us on Washington Football Weekly. We will be here Wednesday nights, but the game is Saturday night, prime time, great spot. Jared Goff versus JD5, Detroit versus Washington. I'm excited, gentlemen. I'm very excited. Let's get it. All right, guys, we're going to let you guys go. Appreciate you guys hopping in here, man.
Thank you all so
Thanks
much.
for having us.
Appreciate you. Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Will, another great one, my friend. Getting ready for this game. Washington vs. Detroit. Hey, I'm here for it. Even if this is the last, and this won't be the last show of the season because we always go and do the off season and talk about that stuff. And Washington, that's our favorite time of the year. But for once in January, we're talking playoff football, baby.
It's new, but it's awesome.
That's right. That's right. Oh, man. Hey, look, ladies and gentlemen, all of you guys in the comments, we appreciate you guys tuning in and watching, this being Washington Football Weekly. Will, where can they check us out and find our other exclusive content?
Oh, yeah. Like and subscribe on Apple and Spotify to Washington Football Weekly. Sean puts out something every Thursday and Friday. You can only get there. It's special stuff, Throwback Thursday, talking about players that used to be with Washington or came to Washington and maybe didn't go so well, like Donovan McNabb a couple weeks ago. And then I'll probably get the injury report out. I'll try to just to kind of see how things are going. We got to be watching Bobby Wagner. He hasn't practiced for 2 straight days now. So that's what I got my eyes on to see how that ankle injury going there. But yeah, follow us on Apple and Spotify. And if you're on Twitter X and you follow us on Wash FB Weekly, I will link all that to you to help you out.
Absolutely. And this episode will be up there tonight. So definitely take a minute and listen into this. Well, look, this has been fun. This has been great talking playoff football. We want to shout out our guy, Jack Niedermeyer, for coming in here and talking about the Tampa game and kind of leading us into this Detroit talk. And then we want to talk about B. Foster in June. Sorry about that. Well, Bleachers, 2 speakers, talking Detroit with us, talking football with us. It was a great time. Check out all the good stuff that they do. And hey, we'll see y'all next time. See y'all next time. Oh, man.
You know what we got to do.
You know what we got to do.
Play that song.
Left hand up, baby. Yes, sir.
Gibbs, you got a good chance. Let me tell you something about some good fans. Back in the day, RFK was our palace. If you don't know, you need to ask about us. Think we're gonna lose? Well, I can't believe your doubters had the whole crowd screaming out, "We want Dallas!"